Okay. Om. Om. I feel like making this tribute to Mooji and Papaji and Ramana Maharshi. This is the chant they do at Manta Sahaja for arati, daily arati. It goes like this. Om Ramana, Om Papaji, Om Mujiji, Om Satguru, Om Shiva, Om Krishna, Om Yeshua, Om Gautama, Om Tare Tu Re Soha. Om Tare Tu Re Soha. Om Tare Tu Re Soha. Om. At Manta Sahaja, when they do this arati, it echoes for 20, 30 minutes, just repeating, and then they're offering the light in a circle so slowly. Om Tare Tu Soha. And you just get into this sweet space of presence. And like in most masters' ashrams, their masters and their master's master are also very present. And I remember, this is many years ago now, but I went to Manta Sahaja for Lent. I was called to Manta Sahaja, and it was one of my first acts of obedience. And so I spent about 40 days there. And I remember sitting in the mandir, the temple, and there's a portrait of, off to the left, of Ramana Maharshi from where I was sitting, and then off to my right there was a portrait of Papaji up high on the walls like this, and I just felt all of a sudden so naked, so exposed, and I looked up and I saw that same portrait that we all know of Ramana Maharshi, that's so powerful. And his gaze was so loving, but completely piercing through me. And I felt so vulnerable, so exposed. And looking frantically around for a fig leaf. and I literally, in that moment, I actually tried to block his gaze. It was so intense. And so at Mooji's ashram, the presence of Papaji is so palpable, so visceral, so real, and also, of course, of Ramana Maharshi. And probably, I've never heard him say it, but I'm quite sure if asked, he would say, "Who's this Mooji? Only Papaji here." And Papaji would say, "Who is this Papaji? Only Ramana here." I know Swami Satchidananda said this. He called it My Real Secret. It's a podcast, an Apple podcast called My Real Secret. Well, let me not spoil. Go listen to it. It really, from a guru, it tells us everything we need to know about guru is nothing more than disciple. Disciple is nothing more than guru.
I've been contemplating this idea of identification with the self as it relates to time. I don't identify with the me from 20 years ago, 10 years ago. And with that disidentification, there's the release of judgment, the release of shame, the release of guilt. There's still cringe for sure. But where is that line? Do I still identify with and feel guilt and shame and some sense of autonomy, control, or sense of will of the me from a year ago, a month ago, a week ago, yesterday? And the persistence day to day of the one who feels the frustration over the thoughts, words, and deeds of the self. Who is that one that I'm looking at and saying, oh, I'm struggling, or oh, I'm not getting it, or oh, I'm regressing? And there's I can't find it other than to say there's this general sense of just the recent past, but I feel like there's something there worth diving into because it can be released and disidentified with.
Perfect. Yes. Release. Detach. It is disidentification, but you could say disidentifying without disidentifying, you know? You just, but who is that, you ask? Who, indeed? Everybody knows this experience of a memory, something you did, or something you thought, or some belief you had, some experience you had, something you said, and you cringe. You said cringe. What is the nature of cringe? Hmm? Who's cringing? See if you can look right now and find who cringes. Who cringes and at whom? Why? Everybody knows the experience. You're not alone. I assure you, it will go away. You will become cringeless. It's true. You will become cringeless. Hmm? It's some form of reflection. of mind, of past identity from current identity. You embarrass you. And who is this one that passes judgment on the old identity? Isn't it really some expression, some perverted expression of self-loathing? Do you see how it's kind of perverse? There's so many ways to explore this. How about this? If you belong to God, if you're the child of God, then what right do you have to scold that one? Huh? So there's so many ways to explore this, to really expose it for what it is. But you already know, all of you already know, it's a total fraud. And each of you, I know, has exposed it in open court. Case dismissed. So, court is adjourned. Be done with it. Put down the gavel and be done. You see, because once you see it as a fraud, you mustn't indulge in it anymore. It's just another echo, another reflection of mind. It has there's nothing to it. It's all mind stuff opposed to mind stuff. Falsity opposed to falsity. What does it amount to? Nothing. So be done with it. When the cringe comes, forgive the cringer. This one is the only offender because the other one is in the past anyway. Nowhere to be found. You will have this experience of remembering something otherwise called cringeworthy. Huh? And you will see that old identity like a proud parent supports a child. playing the clarinet horribly in the second grade concert. And you'll just love that one, you know? So now be done with it. These are nothing more than reflections of mind. You see it as that. You don't need to quell it. You don't need to suppress it. You don't need to gulp the cringe down. You just allow it to be exactly as it is, because it doesn't matter anymore. What is it called? I forget what it has a name, like somebody that yells fire, and then everybody comes running and there's no fire. And, right? They bring the buckets of water, right? But then there's no fire. Oh, well, okay, no fire. And then 3 days later, that one called the boy who cried wolf. Yes, thank you. Yes. The boy who cried fire. I'm not changing metaphors midstream. But it's known as the boy who cried wolf. And then 3 days later, fire. Everybody comes running with the water, the whole village. No fire. Third time, fire, fire, fire. No. No, I know that voice. It's just looking for attention. Wants a big hoopla, big drama. So, we're at the point now where whatever arises, you just throw a blanket of acceptance. Swaddle the whole thing in your total radical acceptance of everything that is. Everything that's happening inside of you. Cringe, shame, pride, codependence, arrogance. Right. Game's up. It's really now, it's no more complicated than tic-tac-toe. So simple. And when's the last time any of you played tic-tac-toe? It's just not interesting anymore. You didn't go through withdrawal, renunciation, suffer tapas from tic-tac-toe addiction. No, you just saw that it's always stalemate. And then didn't go back. This is all that's happening in these reflections of mind, of this identity, that identity, this aspect of me, that aspect of me. Mind observing mind, pretending not to be mind. Just be done. And also, it's okay if you cry and scream and Is it this simple, really? Just this simple? It's just another trick of mind to draw you into some emotional response to some memory, refeeling the past over and over and looping through it over and over. Just be done. Nothing to resolve. Okay. What do you think, Yana? It's possible, just be done with it?
Of course. And when it does still come up, it's fewer and farther between. But when it does come up, it comes up with a fierce intensity. And the accepting, it's okay, just, the radical acceptance, it's like trying to stand still in the Ganga
This is true.
when it comes on. And so from there came the contemplation of, it can't be both ways. Either it's God doing all of it or it's me doing all of it. And why do I keep taking the blame when it's something that something in me perceives as being bad or negative? And then all of a sudden, Yana's doing something wrong with her free will.
You say it comes fierce. The boy yells fire at the top of his lungs. But without fire, all that can happen is he becomes hoarse. You see? Where there's no jeopardy, there's no jeopardy. Where there's falsity, there's nothing real. It doesn't matter how loud the mind becomes. It doesn't matter how intensely it feels. You know it doesn't hold water. You see? It doesn't matter. He could pull the fire drill. He could run around with pots clanging and screaming at the top of his lungs. Shaking people by the shoulders, saying, fire, fire, fire. No fire. It's a lie. It's a liar. It's a liar. Huh? You know any? Ever told one? Ever heard one? What's the problem with a lie? When does a lie become a problem? When you believe it. That's the only problem with a lie. What's the problem with untrustworthy? No problem. You'll perceive a problem if you trust it. But what we're saying here is that you've seen through, the curtain has been pulled back and you see it for what it is. The wizard is exposed as feeble and frail. You see? A lie is a lie. Doesn't matter if it's whispered. Doesn't matter if it's screaming at the top of its lungs. A lie means false. Means not real. Huh? Means of no consequence. Neither to the liar nor to the lied to. Believing is the problem. So once you've exposed the liar, don't fall for it again. The problem, of course, is that you think it's you. You call that your voice. But you see, the liar's also a thief and stole your voice also. Ventriloquist, liar, thief. Magician. You sit in a movie theater and you pay your, gosh, I can't even imagine what it is now. The last time I went, it was $10. You go to the movie theater, you get your popcorn. And after you're bombarded by so many commercials, then the lights come down, you enter the drama, and your eyes draw you in. Your eyes draw you to the screen. Your consciousness merges, superimposes with the screen, yes? Almost as if the screen is your own mind, now connected to your heart and your nervous system. You experience love and laughter and outrage, indignation, victory and defeat. Huh? All of this you sense inside of you. But nothing is happening, is it? Nothing is happening but light. Huh? Light projected on a blank canvas. boy cries fire. Fire appears on the screen, but the screen doesn't burn, does it? And there's no smoke in the theater. And the audience is in no danger. And all the things you felt during the drama. Where did they happen? It's one play, one projection of falsity. It was never once true. But each one probably has seen this. Yes? I know you have, Yana. Don't be fooled. What did we say a few satsangs ago? Huh? How does a fish get big? Huh? By not chasing the lure. Huh? You don't take the bait. Just now remind you, because it's so persistent, this doesn't mean not doing. It means not doership. It means you not doing, but doing happens. Maybe one day in this lifetime it will happen for you where the whole thing, the entire thing, you and everything else you perceived is exposed as part of this falsity, and you simply retreat to the forest. And then you can move into not doing, as the not doer. So have a plan when it comes again. Have a plan. Know, rewrite the script and have a plan for what it is you are not going to do. I'm not going to take the bait. You're going to allow all of the things that arise to arise. You're going to allow all of the thoughts to flow, and you are going to stay in the stillness of awareness as observer. Nothing to say. No opinion, no preference that it didn't arise. You just allow. You just allow. Be prepared for this. Be disciplined in it. Be absolutely intense in your softness. Be so persistent in re-softening, re-allowing, re-softening, re-allowing. It's a battle of peace. It's a battle of not battle. I don't know how to say. The mind is so fast. It moves so fast. Speed of light. And so all the reactions are wired, hardwired. You just let it be. You'll take more and more distance. Identify more and more as seer, as witness, and the trouble will dissipate. So have a plan. Know what you do when it comes and you see it coming. Know what you do when it came and you're caught in it. Huh? And know what you do when you pop back out and didn't notice that any of it was going to happen. Do you follow? No. You're in stillness, in alertness. Huh? You are alert and aware of the mind, non-judging of mind. Thoughts coming, let them say what they want. Let it lie at the top of its lungs. Doesn't matter to you. And you see the thoughts coming around the corner. And you let them. But now you're prepared. You're prepared. You are untouchable. Scenario 1. Scenario 2, you didn't see it coming, and now you're in it. Huh? How do you reclaim the place of witness? This is untouching. Third scenario, you didn't see it coming, you didn't know you were in it, huh? And now you've popped back out, and you do a review. Huh? You see, okay, here's where it came. This was the disguise. Huh? I didn't see it, and then I was in it, and this is how it felt to be in it, and this is how it worked. And then I popped back out. So you learn from it, you see? I think laughing is one of the strongest postures in overcoming the force, the gravity of being sucked back in over and over. What do they call the stuff that's like goo gone or something like that to dissolve glue? This is laughter. What's it called? Goo gone? That's absurd. This is laughter. This is your unbinding agent. Okay. Who has something more? You have a...
I have been noticing something recently that maybe we've discussed before, but it's been more continuously present. And so we're talking about, it feels related. Especially like the past few days, I've been noticing the quickness of the mind, like we're saying, like it moves so fast. But I also know that I'm noticing it. So I know that I'm watching it. But then what happens is the mind comes in and takes that place of the one that's noticing. And I'm now identified as the noticer, but it's not the I anymore. It's now me again. And then I notice that and I pull back again, but it just keeps coming.
Yeah.
It keeps coming and it keeps trying to take that place. So it's like it's endless and exhausting. I think eventually I lose. And I know that we've talked about this before, but it's constant. So that's what I have.
Yeah, this is very good. This is the thief. And the liar. It's always claiming to be I. It's such an imposter. How is it possible that mind claims to be you? No, that's absurd. You've never once been your thoughts. You've never once been your mind. Of course, I can sympathize. Like, this is how it feels. And it gets so frustrating, especially when you see what's happening. And then it keeps on happening past your seeing. Man, it is so persistent. It will continue to persist. But you see, the good news is you have caught the thief. You see? You're in the place of witness, awareness, place of allowance, equanimity, love, and compassion. All of a sudden, the love and compassionate one just has a subtle little thing, some subtle little judgment about somebody. So subtle you don't notice it happening, and then it snowballs. You don't even notice. You know how in the old Western movies, somebody always has to stay up at night, tend the fire, and watch out for horse bandits. Yeah? Somebody has to stand guard. Somebody has to be vigilant. So you exercise the muscle of soft vigilance. You will become so aware of every thought that crosses your mind. And at first, you will seem buffeted by it, tortured by it. This mindfulness, not so pleasant at first. But once you see the patterns of it, and you see the identity theft, you see the lie, and you see the thief. And it's so persistent. It knows every button to push, every back door. You stay alert, and you allow all of its mechanisms, you allow all of its strategies. You just hold it in awareness. And when the awareness seems to have been co-opted, which it never is actually, but seems to have been co-opted, you just allow for that even. You know, there's so many other things to do during all of this, but this is what I did. I'm happy with it. There's also, there's mantra, very effective. At the very least, keeps the mind so busy that, the distractions of the being led astray, you're just doing the mantra. It has so many other benefits, of course. This is one. And when the frustration comes, this is a great place from which to surrender, to plead for refuge. I did this also, to Mooji, actually. And he intervened for me. And so you can plead to God, to Guru. But to know what's happening, this is very important. Most people just think this is how it is. It's not necessary. It gets so frustrating. It's so persistent. But it's really the same thing that we just said. You just see it, and you just
Something. We talk about this a lot, and I just felt like sharing. I don't know if anyone else experiences it, but for me, I've become so aware of this, what the persistence is, like this fog. And for me, it presents as physical exhaustion. Like it tries to put me to sleep, and it succeeds often. Like I'm exhausted.
Yes.
I can barely keep myself awake, and I'm like I'm at least doing it now, doing everything I can, get in the river, do jumping jacks, like what?
Yes.
And it comes back. This is what frustrates me so much.
Yes. Yeah. This is very common. The moment you try and free yourself of mind will throw everything it's got at you.
Can I also, Krishna Priya, that resonates so much. I think lethargy and fatigue has been one of the major obstacles for me, even prior to coming to some sort of conscious spiritual path. That yeah, I'm glad you said that. It resonates, and I'm always like not sure what to do with it. It's like, do I push through this, or do I just let it be and just sort of stay in bed, or do I meditate, or am I is fighting against it? I don't know. Yeah, it resonates.
Yes. Yeah, I think it does for all of us. Yeah. It's tamas. It's inertia. And it happens. It happens. It's so common it. It's almost like tamas gets denser right before release. When it's so common in satsang, people just you get close to freedom and the tamas. It's like have you seen those sort of like Christian paintings where they're sort of mired in the mud? Yeah. Sort of, kind of. It's kind of like a hellscape, and it's torment. I think this is a Christian rendition of tamas, and it's a tricky thing because the way out of tamas we know is rajas. It's through exertion. Like you say, you're doing jumping jacks. I mean, what a great demonstration of your sincerity that you actually want this. I mean, who would do jumping jacks? In the spiritual pursuit, throw cold water on their face, do jumping jacks, But all kinds of things happen. When you become keen to mind will throw the kitchen sink at you. Maya will come for you. You're on the precipice of some peace and a storm comes. It's like this. So maybe it's in part what's meant when Krishna exhorts Arjuna to pick up his sword. The chapter, I believe, is most commonly transliterated as the despondency of Arjuna. Tamas. And I don't know if you've read Bhagavad Gita. It's a good idea. It's a good idea to at least read this. I think it's chapter 2. I don't know. And see all of the different ways that Arjuna expresses from tamas. One of them is, if it's all a falsity, why should I bother? If it's true, I'm already that. If I'm already enlightened, then why would I dabble in this war? Or how could I possibly raise a sword against my own teacher? My own cousin. It's very common. This tamas calls itself sattva. It's just true. It's so common, and you laugh. Again, it's the best medicine. Everyone does it. Why not you? But this inertia has like a gravity. It seems to pull us, to keep us, doesn't it? I think I saw, if I could read the writing, I think it said, the exhaustion arises out of anxiety. It's also like this. Overwhelm. Yes, and that's right, pranayama. So I know Krishna Priya has also been doing Kapalabhati.
Can I add something?
Yeah, please. Yes.
It just, as you were saying it, and just reflecting on it, this seems to be true for me, and I'm just wondering if it is for anyone else. But like the fatigue that I've experienced, I've come to realize seems radically connected to any guilt mongers in my life. And like the releasing myself from guilt and obligation, obviously it's there's one in my mind who is the guilt monger, and there's one who is receiving it, and that's projected onto the external relationship. I know that whole thing, but each time I resolve one of those dynamics, it's almost like an invisible energy drain has been cut off and energy comes back, is the experience that I've had. It's been subtle and dramatic depending on the intensity of that. Almost like, I guess the best image that I have for this is, in the Harry Potter films, the image of the Dementor. Yeah. The Dementor is these like sort of grim things that suck your soul. So I don't know if there's a connection there for others though, but it seems true for me that like that tamas, that fatigue, that lethargy, there's also something in it with like resolving those sources of guilt.
Can I also add something to this?
Yes, please.
It happened to me. I misunderstood when you said lethargy. I think when those things mind come and you drain a lot of stuff, the old stuff, whatever it is, it makes you lethargy or exhausting. I think that's a very sign of cleansing. When you do a lot of cleansing, it's a toxins coming out, and I think it's very common. And it's a sign that you're cleaning, you're shining. And again, you regenerate with your energy, with your practice again. And that has to happen every time. That's lethargy. I think that's perfectly fine, I feel, because as long as you're bouncing back, it's a great sign, I feel. That reflects to me too. But over the period of time, you keep doing, you get the muscle memory of it. I think you get resilient, and sometimes some silences of 4 days, 5 days, that's the deepest cleaning. And then I think that's my experience. I thought I'll share it. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Sharon. It's exactly right. All we know, when the storm comes, when the lethargy comes, when the anxiety, when these things come, it's a sign that you're close. It's a positive sign. It's an early indicator of your near success. It's really true. And how you engage in it also, can help determine the speed of how it'll flow through. And we have to be soft and allowing. But we also have to be alert and intense and disciplined. How do we do these things simultaneously? You see, it's so funny because what we're doing here is waking up, you see. And this tamas, we just want to pull the covers over. Huh? Waking up, no, I just want to go back to sleep. This is the tamas. So there's some things to do, in sadhana, in your spiritual practice. There are things to do that are very helpful. You wake up at 3:30, 4 a.m. get your ass out of bed. Get your feet on the floor, into the shower, scrape your tongue, brush your teeth, do your neti, do your meditation, do some asana, and then if you want to go back to sleep, fine. But if you want to wake up, wake up. If you're serious about waking up, then wake up. And you have to have some discipline, gently, softly. You're not trying to become a great waker-upper, you know? You're just proving your own sincerity. So you do all of this softly, but persistently. This tamas will keep coming for you. It's a very good sign. And also you have to show, I love what you said also, Shravan, about building resilience. After the alarm goes off at 4 a.m. for a week, and every day for 7 days, your feet go straight to the floor. No debate, will I get up or won't I get up? You just do it, you know? You do that for 7 days, you'll build a resilience, you'll build a confidence. You know? You'll build a sense of, I actually have a shot, you know? It's good. These experiences are universal. And it's, you know, and it's good. So, you know, the question is, are you sincere? Are we sincere, you know? How much do you really want it? You know? Do you want it enough to have a plan that when the boy cries fire, you just, no. I'm not taking the bait, I'm not engaging. Do you want it enough that when you wake up at 4 and the sleep comes, are you willing enough to do jumping jacks? What, and it doesn't really matter, it's whatever you choose, you know? So you make your own prescription. Don't take it from anybody. Certainly don't take it from me. Good Lord. Make your own. You see, here it's important. When you come to a place of peace, that's where you make your plan. When you come to a place of clear, alert awareness, then you make your plan. From there, what you do when the sleep comes, when the tamas comes, when the inertia reasserts itself. And then you have to follow through. Then you have to, it's your plan, so you do it. You know? But honestly, my hat goes off. Anyone who will take the suggestion of doing jumping jacks, what's the last thing you want to do when you're feeling tired? Jumping jacks. It's probably insulting too, isn't it? Right? They're all just plays of the same past mind, let's say, trying to not lose its dominance. But it sits in the throne that is rightfully yours. This is the one challenge that is worth engaging in with your full effort, your total sincerity. You've done it for so many other things. You've achieved so many things in your life already. So many victories, overcome so many things. So you know you have it in you. You know, time and time again, you've done things that you didn't feel like doing in order to achieve something that you really wanted. Over and over and over again. All of that in preparation for this. So, pick up your sword. Do your jumping jacks. Okay. Oh, thank you. Om. Om. Om Ramana, Om Papaji, Om Mooji, Om Satguru, Om Shiva, Om Krishna, Om Yeshua, Om Gautama, Om Tare Tu Re Soha. Om Tare Tu Re Soha. Om Tare Tu Re Soha. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Om peace, peace, peace. Thank you, thank you. Love you, love you, love you. And thank you to Antalya Hotel and Seema. Thank you, of course, as always, to Krishna Priya for setting everything up and notifying us and YouTubing and Instagramming and Facebooking, and thank you. This morning, sitting on the Ganga, you probably already know, but it's said by the yogis that Akashic Ganga is too strong to come to earth, would destroy it. She's so powerful. So Shiva silent stillness, Guru, with his matted braids of hair, receives Akashic Ganga and allows it to flow. And from her, all things are born. From this flow, with the mercy of Shiva, from this flow, Mother gives birth to all things. And then from this same flow, she provides for all things. And also, this is the force of mind. That moved us downstream. How to make your way back upstream. Jumping jacks. And here she is. I mean,